late Saturday into Sunday, and that moisture will continue to move in. So temperature-wise on Saturday, not bad. Still on track with the low 40s for most of our area, 41 in the capital. Cold, though, in northeastern Montana as that next Arctic air mass starts to slide into the area. So here's how that's going to translate over the next 7 days for us. Going to be looking at 43 today, still a little bit windy, maybe some breezy conditions tomorrow. And then as that cold front settles in, it's going to meet up with that Pacific moisture on Sunday. More widespread snow is expected. Now, although the snow is going to be more widespread Sunday into Monday, it's not expected to produce a ton of accumulation right now, maybe around an inch. We'll monitor that very closely. Keep you up to date. Keely?
Thanks, Jason. We're now sitting at 5:49 on this Friday, and still to come, people of all ages and abilities are ensuring a romantic Valentine's Day holiday in Helena. We'll share how next.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
And welcome back to Montana This Morning. Well, some of you at home will be lucky enough to receive a beautiful bouquet of flowers later today. A popular choice for many is roses.
Yeah, but the journey of those flowers isn't quite as simple as just from that flower shop to your loved one's hand.
Westmont Flower and Trading Company in Helena has been quite busy the last week. Workers have been removing thorns and cutting stems to size, all to fulfill hundreds of orders for Valentine's Day. Each order is made with love and offers a purposeful job for individuals with disabilities.
You see them walk to a door with an arrangement and somebody excited to get flowers, which everybody is. That really completes the process, and when the client comes back to the car with a huge smile and they're just completely proud of what they did and what they helped put together, you know, that's pretty special.
This is just one rose of 10,000 roses that was shipped internationally to Westmont, and each rose is going to be made into a unique, beautiful arrangement.
According to Society of American Florists, it's estimated that more than 250 million roses are produced for Valentine's Day. For Montana, being that February is during the winter months, that in itself can have its fair share of challenges.
Two things, probably weather and transportation. Especially in Helena, we're limited as far as flights. Most of our product comes in via airlines.
It takes multiple flights to deliver 10,000 roses to the capital city.
And think about that, because those roses are grown in Ecuador or Colombia or Guatemala.
The flowers, just like any other imported item, must go through the United States Custom and Border Protection before reaching the flower shop. They'll be inspected for everything from smuggled drugs, dangerous or invasive insects. And when it comes to sales, Farrell says not every Valentine's Day year brings in the cash at the register. Depends on the day of the week that the love day falls on.
Ironically, Valentine's Day is a big flower day for men to buy flowers, and they really like the effect of having flowers delivered to their wife or their girlfriend's office, the wow effect. So that doesn't happen, obviously, if you have a Saturday or a Sunday.
For MTN News, I'm Phoenix O'Connor.
That's such a neat story. Have you
Quite a trip.
You ever gotten flowers for Valentine's Day?
Like somebody sending me flowers?
Yeah. Or have you been on the sending end?
Oh, I've been on the sending side quite often, but never...
Never received flowers?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a good
No, I don't need flowers. No.
Aren't you? But you're as sweet as a flower, so you deserve a flower.
I think they're rather bitter if you eat them. So that sweet on the outside, bitter on the inside,
Maybe the
right?
thorns more so describe you than the rose
Right,
does.
there you go. Yeah, that's a little bit more accurate, right? Kind of cold up in northeastern Montana, but nowhere near what we were yesterday. Yesterday at this time, we were like 10 below in Glasgow, so much more mild there. As for our next system, so we're going to stay a little bit windy, a couple little cold fronts moving through, but really the big one's going to be as we head into Saturday night and Sunday. That's going to produce more widespread snow for your Monday morning commute. Not looking at a ton of accumulation, but we'll keep you up to date on that system as it heads our way. So really temperature-wise, staying pretty mild through the weekend, staying well into the 40s, 43 degrees today. Carbon copy then tomorrow here in the capital, looking at 39, back into the low 40s through the weekend.
And stick around, your Farm and Ranch Report with the Montana Ag Network is next. It's 6 o'clock on this Friday morning and happening now. Outdoor officials announced changes are coming for wolf hunters here in Montana. We take you inside the discussion. Plus, those looking to get outdoors while also earning an internship credit need look no further. More on a Montana internship program for college students. And we take you inside a new documentary that aired last night in eastern Montana, a preview of a broken trust just ahead. Montana This Morning starts now.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is Montana This Morning from Montana's news leader.
Good morning and happy Friday. I'm Keithy Van Mittendorp.
I'm Jason Laird. A little bit windy out there, but much more mild temperature-wise here this morning.
We were saying earlier, we think Mother Nature's giving us some love.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
A little Valentine's Day gift for us.
Just a little skiff of love.
Right,
and then
right.
It's back to normal.
Right, see, we've even got red on the map. See, there you go, Valentine's Day for you. Especially northeastern Montana, much warmer compared to where we were 24 hours ago. We were like 10 below at this time yesterday. Currently sitting at 26 in northeastern Montana, 37 in Great Falls. That wind helping to bump those temperatures a little bit. Still tracking a breezy day though, so blowing and drifting in central Montana not out of the question. More snow moves in Saturday night through Sunday, but more mild next week. We'll tell you about this weekend and how next week is shaping up very shortly. Keely.
Thanks, Jason. We're now sitting at 6:02 on this Friday, and the topic of wolf management was on the docket Thursday night at the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Commission meeting in Helena. Last night's agenda issue was possibly increasing the harvest quota from 1 to 2 wolves in hunting units 313 and 312, that's south of Bozeman. Also extending the hunting and trapping season to being August 15th until March 31st in Region 1 and in the northwest part of the state. Both ideas brought out enough people to pack the meeting room at FWP headquarters. Some as far away as Arizona came to share their views for and against the changes.
The wolves are valued intrinsically as wildlife that is crucial to our ecosystem, also for tourism, which is crucial to our economy, and research, which is crucial to the world.
We also support the proposal to increase harvest opportunities in Region 1. Wolves, like other wildlife, require management according to biological and social capacities. Those reasons we support the proposal. Thank you.
And after a long public discussion in Helena and around the state via video, the commission voted to not accept the proposed changes, keeping the quota at 1 and the season to September 15th through March 15th. Also Thursday, FWP revealed the results from the Madison River Recreation Scoping Survey. The goal of the survey is to help find solutions for how to manage the amount of people using the river and gauge the public's feeling on the matter. 7,500 people responded to the survey, with around 30% being given by non-Montana residents. Most respondents said that they would like to see a reduction of commercial outfitter trips on the river from 2018 numbers and would like to see more walkway and social conflict management. Montana residents said they'd prefer to see a 50-50 resident to non-resident cap, but out-of-state anglers and outfitters disagreed. FWP is currently working on developing a proposal for the river and strongly encourages people to remain active and help them develop the best plan for that area. Also a change this morning for adults traveling with youth hunters for the special youth deer-only hunt. The Montana Fish and Wildlife Commission approved a change Thursday morning, allowing those adults to also hunt not just deer. The original rules stated the adult would had to be a non-hunter. FWP's Enforcement Division asked for the change given how many other hunting seasons overlap the youth-only deer hunt, like antelope, moose, and upland game bird.
Again, we want the focus to be on taking that new hunter out, getting them an introduction to it, giving them an opportunity to enjoy hunting. But at the same time, it's difficult to enforce having a rule that has somebody has to be non-hunter.
FWP said if an adult hunter takes deer during the youth-only deer hunt, it will be treated as any other poaching case. Well, contrary to the cold weather, summer is just around the corner, and that means now is the time to start applying for summer jobs. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks is seeking applicants for their 3-month-long summer internship program. For the past 29 years, FWP has offered a college internship program to give students an opportunity to put the education they receive within the classroom into practice in the real world. Interns with FWP work at various parks throughout the state, like Giant Springs State Park here in Great Falls, where they interact with the public, go on patrol, patrols and help with special events. While students with career emphasis in a related field are recommended, applicants of all majors and backgrounds are invited to apply so long as they possess valid driver's licenses and are enrolled at an accredited college or university. Giant Springs Park Manager Alex Scholes says having interns during the busiest season of the year is a win-win for both the students and staff.
It provides them a chance to get some real-world experience in a position that they could be applying for when they graduate from school. So it benefits the students and it benefits the park because it allows us to hire another employee when a lot of times we can't because of internal funding and things like that.
The deadline to apply for the summer internship is March 2nd. We have more details on how to apply on our websites. Well, Montana is home to 8 Indian reservations, each with their own rich culture and unique traditions. All reservations in Montana and across the country have a complex legal relationship with the federal government when it comes to prosecuting criminals. Victims of sexual assault on the reservation oftentimes don't receive justice. Newsy, a news organization owned by our parent company, premiered a documentary Thursday in Poplar highlighting this issue. MTN's Mitch Laggy has more on a broken trust.
Sexual assault is a notoriously difficult crime to prosecute, and even more so here in Indian country. When the Newsy team first came to Montana back in 2018, the idea was to document how the man camps in the Bakken oil field influenced crime in the local area. What they found was a much bigger problem.
The system itself is very complicated, and that there are so many opportunities for a survivor to just slip through the cracks. Because there are so many different people that are trying to work together, so many different hands that a single case can pass through.
Angela, Marin, and Carrie are the people from Newsy who brought A Broken Trust together. They stopped by Rescast Radio to promote their documentary and shed more light on the high level of sexual assault happening on America's Indian reservations.
There's a lot of people who told us their stories who said that, they haven't even told their husband.
Yeah.
And that this isn't something that's talked about, and it's time to start talking about it.
Right.
They, I guess, put themselves out there because they want to see something and change in their community.
The end of A Broken Trust is left pretty wide open. You may finish watching and feel a lack of hope that these women will ever get justice. But shedding light on the tough topic of sexual assault is the first step to new beginnings.
So yeah, it's I think can kind of be a little messy at first. But I think once that awareness can be raised a little bit, people can look at the issue and we can start having those conversations. It starts with those conversations about what do we do. And not one person has all the answers, but I think if we do our part, if we just do our part, we can play our role into how can I help.
In Poplar, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
And you can find out more about A Broken Trust on our websites. It's now 6:09, and just ahead we highlight a special kind of story time. MTN heads to the library for a look just ahead.
And later in your weather forecast, some strong wind this morning is causing blowing and drifting snow just east of Great Falls here this morning. Some of the areas of concern, again, as you're traveling east on 87, 427, some areas of blowing and drifting snow, scattered slush in that area. Also wet and scattered wet in and around Monarch on 89. More on your forecast is coming up shortly.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
And welcome back to Montana This Morning. The time now is 6:12 on this Friday. And at the Great Falls Public Library, American Sign Language volunteers put pictures and signs together for a one-of-a-kind story time on Thursday. Each Wednesday and Thursday morning, a group of preschoolers gather in the library basement for an hour of storytelling. Thursday's lesson taught children about sign language. According to American Sign Language board members, they can help children who are deaf or hard of hearing avoid language deprivation. This is the delay of language learning in a child due to a lack of socialization in the home or community.
I also have a deaf son, and we don't have a lot of access in our community. The deaf community here doesn't have a lot of access. So it's important for the deaf community to come together and for the greater community to know that we're here. We hope to spread awareness, and lots of little kids at home, maybe they might be deaf or hard of hearing, whatever degree of hearing loss doesn't matter, deaf, or they could be maybe even special needs. They don't have that communication, verbal access, but they can use sign language. And we would like to spread that awareness that ASL isn't only for deaf people, but it's really beneficial for the community at large.
And if you'd like to learn ASL, classes will be offered next month for kids and adults. We have more information on our websites. Well, Veterans of Foreign Wars is asking for your help this morning. They are in need of funding for future flag replacements at the Highland Cemetery. The flag costs $430. They're asking veteran groups to donate at least $200 for the ongoing expenses.
These are men and women that went before us, and we're standing here free today because of these people here. And if that's not reason enough to donate, then I don't know what is, because we're free because of them.
If you'd like to donate, you can check out our websites for more details.
Up next in your weather forecast, well, a more mild start to the day. We are tracking snow flurries right now in the capital, 37 in Great Falls, much more mild in northeastern Montana compared to yesterday. Looking at 32 degrees, a little bit chilly in Great Falls as we head out. Breezy again this afternoon at 37. Some snow this morning, should clear up pretty quickly in the capital. 30 degrees, mid-30s, middle of this afternoon. Our next storm system that's moving in is going to be Saturday night through Sunday. Snow likely for your Monday morning commute. We'll tell you about it next.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with Jason Laird.
Well, we made it finally Friday here in Montana, and I guess everywhere for that matter, right? Starting things off with a little bit of wind in central Montana, Cascade, Judith Basin counties. Blowing and drifting snow not out of the question here, especially this morning. This winter weather advisory set to expire at 11 a.m. here this morning. As for what we're tracking wind-wise, a little bit breezy. We'll likely see that wind ramp up a little bit around the noon hour. 17 miles per hour in Great Falls, a little bit more, though, along the High Line. So just enough light snow out there blowing and drifting, especially just east of Great Falls toward Lewistown. Today's high temperature is going to be sitting at 43 degrees, thanks in part to that wind. It kind of compresses and heats up over the mountains, and that's going to bump those temperatures up. Much more mild in northeastern Montana as well. A cold front is going to pass through the state today. That's what's going to help kind of keep those winds a little bit brisk at times. We're already seeing some snow in around the capital, really just light flurries over the mountains, about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation into the mountains today. Can't rule out an isolated flurry, much like what we're seeing in the capital, and maybe a shower or two in central Montana. But really the biggest impact with the passage of today's cold front is just going to be windier conditions taking us into this evening and kind of tapering off then overnight. We'll see 23 for your overnight low tonight if you have plans to head out for Valentine's Day. Not a bad one. Bundle up, a little bit brisk out there, but again, a lot less wind to speak of tonight. Looking at the teens in northeastern Montana. Saturday is going to start out relatively clear. We will start to see more North Pacific moisture move in, though, and another batch of colder air is going to drop down out of Canada. That is going to meet up with that moisture late Saturday night through Sunday, maybe even into Monday as well. So with that said, temperature-wise, though, tomorrow, we're still going to stay a little bit more on the mild side, 43 in Great Falls. Cooler, though, in northeastern Montana as that next pocket of cold air starts to slide down. So here's how things are going to play out for the remainder of your weekend. By Sunday morning, more widespread snow is expected due to that system moving in off of the coast and that batch of colder air meeting it. Although widespread, not really significant accumulations expected. The big talking point, though, Tuesday, coldest day, and then that big high pressure ridge, strong high pressure ridge is going to move in off of the coast. That's going to bump temperatures to the next level as Wednesday, Thursday, Friday rolls around. So windy over the next couple of days. We're going to stay in the 40s. A little bit of snow likely, though, Sunday into Monday, and then getting much more mild toward the middle of this next week. As for the capital, possible flurry today, as we're seeing right now, 39 and then 40s to follow. Keely.
Thanks, Jason. It's now 6:20, and coming up next on Montana This Morning, a moving gesture continues to capture hearts and hay each year. We'll explain next.
I'm Vinny Politan. Coming up today on Court TV, a huge day in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial. The final closing argument for the jury. This time today, the prosecution delivers their closing argument, their last opportunity to convince this jury beyond a reasonable doubt that this man, Harvey Weinstein, is a sexual predator. Remember, Weinstein facing the potential of life in prison. We are live from our Court TV studios in New York City today on Court TV.
Watch Court TV on our MTN affiliates, KTVH Channel 12.4 and KTGF Channel 50.3. By the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
And welcome back to Montana This Morning. The time now is 6:26 on this Friday, and one Montana man's utterly romantic side continues to capture his wife's heart with a simple gesture.
Now we went up to Geyser for this sweet story.
We're off.
Geyser rancher Russell Miskowitz creates his own moving Valentine's Day gesture for his wife Lori each year.
I can never get off the ranch to go buy my wife a sweetheart card. So I decided just to make her a card out on the ranch.
The stakes are high after 5 years of handmade Valentines.
I just hope I can do this heart right.
But the couple agrees this is the best way to celebrate the holiday, and that's Snow Bull.
It doesn't take money. You don't have to go to a fancy restaurant. You don't have to buy jewelry. Something as simple as this means a whole lot more.
It's still just as perfect and precious and heartfelt as the first time.
Here we are, ladies.
It may be deja vu, but the couple cherishes recreating the romantic gesture born from an ordinary morning of chores.
All of a sudden, you could see it. You could see the heart. And then he got out of the tractor and he blew me a kiss.
She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it.
It was just wonderful. It was beautiful.
The heart is also a way to show love for all those they cherish and miss each year.
My father passed away about 5 years ago. Way to honor him too, you know. Give him a big heart he can see from the sky.
And that's not just for us, it's for everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
And also in Geyser, calving season is just beginning, and this week a cow after Cupid's own heart arrived. Meet Valentine, a newborn calf at the South Peak Angus Ranch. She was born Wednesday at 6 a.m. and Lori Miskowitz tells us they couldn't resist naming the calf after the upcoming holiday of love.
That's right. She says her mama cow is just 3 years old. Now this is her second calf, actually. The family operated and owned the ranch. Says that they've seen 4 calves already so far this year between flood concerns and recent fire in the area. Lori says that they are happy to see some good news from Geyser and can't wait for the arrival of more baby calves.
I loved going up there yesterday.
Yeah, that was a fun
great.
trip. That was a really fun trip. Cold, but fun trip.
Right. I hope they had as much fun as we did.
Yeah.
They were actually like working while we were just kind of disrupting.
Right. We're just kind of, hanging out in the background, causing problems. They're actually, doing what they're
right. But I just love that story
because
Lori was saying her husband has been doing it for 5 years now.
Right.
They'll have their breakfast, coffee,
right.
Morning chores every morning. But this just breaks it up. And like he was saying, Russell said he's just got to have some fun on the farm.
Right. Well, and I was talking to Lori too, and she said that he's actually gotten pretty talented writing other things.
Really?
With the hay. Yeah. So he practices periodically.
He can send like messages what he wants for dinner.
Exactly.
Maybe like next
go.
time.
Right. Yeah. So he's kind of been practicing a little bit over the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Well, on the weather scene here bright and early this morning, flurries flying in the capital, 28 degrees, much warmer in Great Falls, 37 northeastern Montana, much more mild this morning compared to where we were yesterday at this time. Our next system is going to move in this weekend, Saturday night through Sunday. Cold front's going to drop in, meet up with some Pacific moisture, and that's going to kick off more widespread snow. Not heavy accumulations, but some snow. Temperature-wise, really not seeing much of a drop. We'll stick with the 40s as we head through the weekend. Next week, though, after that colder air mass moves in, it is going to get quite a bit colder. 39 in the capital today with the early 40s to follow.
And stick around, there's more news ahead. Montana This Morning continues after a short break.
Bye.
It's 6:30 on this Friday morning and happening now. Details after 3 people face charges for the death of a 12-year-old boy, the latest from Gallatin County. Plus,
we're going to get to the bottom of the entire thing, and justice one way or another is going to be secured.
a public service commissioner says there will be justice for whoever stole his emails. And Lewis and Clark County residents are reminded that election season is quickly approaching, what they'll be finding in their mailboxes this week. Montana This Morning starts now.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is Montana This Morning from Montana's news leader.
Good morning and thanks for trusting MTN on this Friday. I'm Keely Mittendorf.
I'm Jason Laird. A little bit of a breezy start to the day, but much more mild temperature-wise
Right,
so
versus
far.
yesterday.
Yeah, it was a cold one.
Yeah,
especially
I couldn't
northeastern
believe it.
Montana, like
Ooh.
10, 12 below at this hour.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking
I
about
know,
it.
but yeah, like you said earlier, Mother Nature may be throwing us little Valentine's Day presents. Even the map is red, you know, very festive here today. 37 degrees warmer at this hour compared to 24 hours ago in northeastern Montana. More mild in the Great Falls and the capital. We are seeing some light flurries make their way through the capital at this hour, so as you're heading out the door, expect a light dusting there. 29 in Helena, looking at 37 right now in Great Falls. Forecast headlines. Still a little bit breezy today. Blowing and drifting snow remains a bit of a talking point, and a pretty mild next week after this little storm system moves through. We'll tell you about that coming up shortly. Keely.
Thanks, Jason. We'll check back in with you in Storm Tracker weather. Beginning this morning in southwestern Montana, 3 people are in jail after Gallatin County detectives say they beat and tortured a 12-year-old boy to death. James Alex Hurley's grandparents, Patricia Batts and James Sasser Jr., are being held at the Gallatin County Detention Center. Hurley's 14-year-old uncle, James Sasser III, is in Billings. Prosecutors said multiple times yesterday that they are behind the systematic torture that led to Hurley's death. They face charges of deliberate homicide by accountability. The extent of the harm done to Hurley is part of a series of crimes that Gallatin County Sheriff Brian Gutkin says is the worst he's seen in his entire career. Court documents reveal a horrific timeline. Detectives found Hurley to be covered with injuries, having lived with Batts and Sassa for about 2 years after his father died in 2018. Investigators found places in the home where large amounts of blood were cleaned up with vinegar. They also found videos where they say Batts is seen torturing the boy. In other news around the state, the Montana Public Service Commission, which regulates utilities, has been front and center lately in the debate over power generation here in the Treasure State. But as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, the commission is now embroiled in a different sort of controversy involving the alleged theft and public dissemination of one commissioner's office emails.
Last month, Public Service Commissioner Roger Koopman of Bozeman got a surprise. Someone had accessed his office email account, extracted 3 dozen emails, and then provided them to a news website in Kalispell. The site, Northwest Liberty News, had posted those emails for all to see, including 3 in which Koopman discussed personal affairs with his daughter and attorney.
It's quite a different matter when things are picked out of your emails without your knowledge by somebody internally at the PSC. Simply to harm and embarrass a person. It's a malicious act.
After being contacted by MTN News this week, Northwest Liberty News owner Jim White removed the emails that contained Koopman's personal information, saying he hadn't realized their specific content. But the affair isn't over. The PSC and state IT personnel have been investigating who got into Koopman's email account without his permission. PSC Chief Counsel Justin Kraske says he'll report his findings to the 5-member PSC probably next week.
We're going to get to the bottom of the entire thing, and justice one way or another is going to be secured, and those that are responsible of this absolutely should be brought to justice.
Koopman also has hired a lawyer who said in a letter to the PSC that those responsible should be dealt with severely and that Koopman should be compensated for any damages. Commission Chairman Brad Johnson told MTN News he's been advised by counsel not to discuss the matter while the investigation continues. In many of the emails made public, Koopman is seen criticizing his fellow commissioners. He says that content is nothing he hasn't said publicly. The bigger issue, he says, is the breach of email security and that some information on state email is private and protected from public release.
We need to maintain a reputation of being able to keep information secure in our midst. And when this information is not secure, when it can be put out anytime, anywhere, it really compromises our ability to do our job and really hurts our reputation.
Koopman believes the public dissemination of his emails is a form of retaliation for his criticisms. But no one is saying yet who the guilty party may be. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And all 5 commissioners are elected and serve at the pleasure of their respective districts' voters. On the campaign trail, someone is attempting to get the Green Party on the ballot in Montana, but it's not the Green Party. Signature gatherers have been on the streets of several Montana cities the past week, saying they're working to get the party on the ballot. But the Montana Green Party says in its Facebook page, it's not us. A conservative political group called Club for Growth Action filed paperwork last week to spend money in Montana to finance the effort, but a club spokesman told MTN News it abandoned that effort. Also, voters around Lewis and Clark County will soon be receiving important reminders about the upcoming election year. The county elections office is mailing postcards to more than 46,000 voters. The cards will include voters' current registration information. For those who vote at a polling place, it will show their precinct and polling location. For absentee voters, it will show the dates when mail ballots will go out. Election officials say this is a good time for voters to make sure their registration is up to date and to decide whether they want to vote in person or by mail. There will be a form they can send back if they want to make any changes. It's now 6:38, and coming up next, a moving gesture continues to capture hearts and hay each year. We'll explain next.
And later in your weather forecast, blowing and drifting snow just east of Great Falls, not out of the question today. Basically all the way from Great Falls to Hobson, you'll see that 40 miles per hour when it comes to the wind. Same areas of impact yesterday, looking at some black ice along 87, 427, more of a slushy mix out there. We'll tell you more about your forecast coming up shortly.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
And welcome back to Montana This Morning. The time now is 6:40 on this Friday, and a change this morning for adults traveling with young hunters for the special youth deer-only hunt. The Montana Fish and Wildlife Commission approved a change Thursday morning, allowing those adults to also hunt not just deer. The original rule stated the adult had to be a non-hunter. FWP's Enforcement Division asked for the change given how many other hunting seasons overlap the youth-only deer hunt, like antelope, moose, and upland game bird. FWP said if an adult hunter takes a deer during the youth-only deer hunt, it will be treated as any other poaching case. And contrary to the cold weather, summer is just around the corner, and that means now is the time to start applying for summer jobs. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks is seeking applicants for their 3-month-long summer internship program. For 29 years, FWP has offered a college internship program to give students an opportunity to put the education they receive within the classroom into practice in the real world. Interns with FWP work at various parks throughout the state, like Giant Springs State Park here in Great Falls, where they interact with the public, go on patrols, and help with special events. While students with career emphasis in a related field are recommended, applicants of all majors and backgrounds are invited to apply as long as they possess valid driver's licenses and are enrolled at an accredited college or university. The deadline to apply for the summer internship is March 2nd. We'll have more details on how to apply on our websites. And new this morning, a Montana man's utterly romantic side continues to capture his wife's heart with a simple gesture. We went up to Geyser for this sweet story.
We're off.
Geyser rancher Russell Miskowitz creates his own moving Valentine's Day gesture for his wife Lori each year.
I can never get off the ranch to go buy my wife a sweetheart card. So I decided just to make her a card out on the ranch.
The stakes are high after 5 years of handmade Valentines.
I just hope I can do this heart right.
But the couple agrees this is the best way to celebrate the holiday, and that's Snow Bull.
It doesn't take money. You don't have to go to a fancy restaurant. You don't have to buy jewelry. Something as simple as this means a whole lot more.
It's still just as perfect and precious and heartfelt as the first time.
Here we are, ladies.
It may be deja vu, but the couple cherishes recreating the romantic gesture born from an ordinary morning of chores.
All of a sudden, you could see it. You could see the heart. And then he got out of the tractor and he blew me a kiss.
She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it.
It was just wonderful. It was beautiful.
The heart is also a way to show love for all those they cherish and miss each year.
My father passed away about 5 years ago. Way to honor him too, you know. give him a big heart he can see from the sky.
And that's not just for us, it's for everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
And also in Geyser, calving season is just beginning, and this week a cow after Cupid's own heart arrived. Meet Valentine, a newborn calf at the South Peak Angus Ranch. She was born Wednesday at 6 a.m., and Lori Miskowitz tells us they couldn't resist naming the calf after the upcoming holiday of love. She says Mama Cow is 3 years old. This is her second calf. The family-operated and owned ranch says it's seen 4 calves already so far this year. Between flood concerns and a recent fire in the area, Lori says they are just happy to see some good news come from Geyser and can't wait for the arrival of more calves. Well, some of you at home will be lucky enough to receive a beautiful bouquet of flowers later today. A popular choice for many is roses, but the journey of those flowers isn't as simple as from the flower shop to your loved one's hands.
Westmont Flower and Trading Company in Helena has been quite busy the last